WVCW. I'm Maya.
I'm Sarah.
And we are here with
Squirrel Flower.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day.
Of course. Thank you for interviewing me.
Of course. So, you've been on tour for like a month. How's that been?
It's been amazing. It's been the best tour of my life. I'm like so fucking tired, but it's like you kind of get past this point where like you're so tired, you're not tired, and everything is just like fuzzy and interesting, and you're just like gliding along. So that's the zone I'm in right now, just like in a different world and loving it.
You've been releasing music since 2015, right?
Yeah.
So what has changed from your first release to now? And what's something that you try to keep consistent with every release you put out?
I think the thing I try to keep consistent is just my unique artistic voice, and not compromising that at all. You know, it's funny you ask that because we're in the Camel in Richmond, which is where I played on my first ever tour that I did when I was 18 back in 2015, and I just played here solo, and the bill was like Lucy Dacus, and like before she was famous. It was just like fucking crazy to think about being back here 9 years later, like 8.5 years later, and me like playing it for real. And that's really cool.
And what's changed since like your first release to now?
A lot. I mean, I tour in very different ways now. I play larger venues. I tour with a band, which I didn't do for a while, and like everything is just a lot more streamlined, and it feels more like a business a little bit, like just the act of touring and the rhythm of it. It's less like just a vacation, which is how DIY touring did feel when I did it for like 4 years or so. Like it was really just about like having fun and like partying and meeting people, and now it feels more like an active conserving energy, and it's like just about the music.
Are there any like musicians that don't necessarily sound like you but are like a big inspiration in your music?
Yeah, this one musician, they are like an ambient musician from Montreal, and their music means a lot to me. And you know, I don't make ambient music, but I think the way that Ciolina treats space and time in their music is very influential for the way that I like approach space and time in my music.
Do you find that there's like a difference between inspiration and influence for you?
Definitely, yeah. Because like you can be inspired by anything and not necessarily want to put that into your own art. You know what I mean? And you can be, you know, I guess you could be influenced by something and not inspired by it. I don't know if I have experienced that, but I'd say it more goes the other way, where like you can be inspired by something and not be inherently influenced.
There's been these Squirrel Flower songs that have stood out to me, like what you've been trying to achieve, or all of them just like you're still refining like what you want to. It's not like the perfect sound, but like this is the song.
Yeah. I think with this new record, I've gotten closer to achieving that, but you know, I think part of being an artist is that you never really achieve that. It's this constant act of seeking, of trying your best to achieve that, but knowing that it's futile. You know, of course, perfection is not attainable, but I would say my new album is pretty damn close. Not to perfection, sorry. Not to perfection, but to that sort of feeling of like, this is exactly what I want to do.
I mean, you've been doing it like for 10 years, so like, yeah, it's nice to like find this, like this is getting closer to what I want.
Definitely. Yeah.
Do you find that like the process of like crafting music and like an album in general is like therapeutic?
Yeah, it is very therapeutic. Because I have a lot of songs that I write just for therapeutic reasons, to like work through shit myself, and overlap for sure, but for me, there's definitely a lot of songs that I've written that I don't feel the need to share with anyone. I don't think that they are that interesting, but it still helped when I was making them and playing guitar and singing on them.
What is the song that, or like, your requirement on like what songs get to be shared? Or just like you want someone else to listen to?
You know, I don't know if I can really break it down. It just has to be more than a word vomit, and it has to feel like more than just like a diary entry. You know what I mean? Like the actual music itself needs to be interesting. It comes down to the way that a song makes me feel. Like if when I'm playing it, I feel like I'm evoking emotion, and also it has like something with musical interest. That's it.
The only questions I can think of are like really miscellaneous.
That's what, dude, ask a miscellaneous question.
Top 5 albums.
I can't answer that.
Okay, sorry.
Impossible.
Do you have like an allegiance to like a certain like gas station or like rest stop?
Yes, I do. Come and Go.
Where's that?
In Iowa, mostly. But dude, they were just bought by Maverick, which is like, I think it's like a Mormon, like Utah vibes gas station, and they think that the name is too dirty. So they're fucking rebranding, they're changing the name to Maverick. So Come and Go is no longer. My drummer tonight, I think, is gonna wear his Come and Go sweatshirt. We love Come and Go. I lived in Iowa, I went to school in Iowa and lived there for like 4.5 years. So,
Wait, when did you move to Boston then?
I'm from Boston
Okay, you're from-
originally, and then in 2014 I went to Iowa. But like just kind of back and forth between Iowa and Boston. I lived in New York for a bit, and then left Iowa in 2019. Moved back in with my parents for like 2 years, and then moved to Chicago in 2020. That's where I live now.
Who are your favorite acts to come out of Chicago?
I mean, right now, my favorite Chicago bands / musicians are Kara Jackson, Rap Boys, Snowball, Namdi, like, it just goes on. It's endless. But those are some of my tops.
Why did you decide to move to Chicago and not like stay in New York and Boston?
Well, because New York fucking sucks, in my opinion. I mean, it's too expensive, and like that's kind of for me, like, if I can't comfortably live in a place and afford it, I'm not gonna move there and like die working a million jobs to like pay my rent. That's the type of lifestyle that does not interest me. And I would have no time to make my art if I did that. So Chicago felt more accessible to me. A lot of my friends moved there after college, and just like I always loved the music scene there. So yeah, a lot of things just kind of fell into place, and yeah, it's treated me very well.
You remind me of a question I had about your song Full-Time Artist. Y'all should listen. Y'all should listen to it. It's awesome. Was that feeling something you've been feeling a lot in your early release of Flower? Or like now since have you been feeling like that pressure of just like
I think I felt that pressure more over the past 3 years because I've gotten older and I have more financial stress in my life, and a lot of the people around me that are my age, like I'm 27, and I feel like a lot of my peers are experiencing a very similar struggle of like wanting to like lead these weird creative lives, but just being like, how do I do this? Like, how can I possibly do this when the world is so difficult? It's so hostile to that sort of lifestyle. Being in my mid-20s and looking around and being like, well, shit, it's kind of bleak out here.
do you have like a lot of musician friends that were experiencing it, or it's just like the feeling you just have?
Well, I think everyone who's a musician, I think feels that way, to be honest, like, at least a little bit.
It's one's kind of specific, but I'm kind of a fan of Caroline. The cover of
Yes, I
How
did.
Did That Come About?
That started honestly as a bit of a joke. It was our last show before lockdown. We were like on tour when COVID hit, and we decided to cancel our whole tour, and we had one last show in New York, and it was like, fuck it, let's cover this song that I've been listening to a lot, and we didn't even practice, we just did it, and it was really fun. And then I like went home and just recorded it in my basement and released it. I didn't think anyone would ever hear it. Like I thought like maybe a few hundred people would hear it, but it took off, which is crazy.
Do you still perform it?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I can't not. Everybody like always needs to hear it. You know, people ask for it. We usually do it last. Don't tell anyone.
What is it like being a musician? You've had experience before COVID and now post-COVID. What's been different being a musician after COVID?
I think it's a bit harder because like, you know, COVID is still out there and a lot of my friends have like had to cancel tours even now due to like illness on the road. So that's like something that is hard to navigate, and I don't know, a lot of venues like shut down during lockdown. It's hard. A lot of local scenes have changed a lot because there was like that year of just like, you know, upheaval and things closing down and real estate getting more fucked up. And, so it almost feels like a very different landscape now. But you know, it's also hard to say because I wasn't touring the same way I am now pre-COVID. So it's hard to say really.
Thank you so much, Ella, for talking to us.
Thank you guys for talking to me. Thank you.